So, Amit, the first and the sort of the most obvious question is that we all are in lockdown. So, what is Amit Trivedi doing? I was reading somewhere that, you said that you're getting bored. Unlike a lot of musicians were saying that, isolation is good for us. It helps us, compose music or think about what kind of music we can make. You said you get bored. So, how do you sort of explain that?
No, I am also at home working and making music and doing my thing. I have my
Hmm.
mini setup. Uh, Bored in the sense that all the time cooped up in one room, one house. It's little gets to you sometimes.
Hmm.
So yeah, but otherwise that's all good.
And you just released a new single of your independent label. The album is called of Hopes and Faith. If I'm not wrong, I'd
Songs
written
of
it down. Well, yeah,
Songs
Songs
of
of
Faith.
Hope. So
Songs of
tell us
Faith.
about Songs of Faith. I'm sorry. So tell us about that. How long was that idea in your head, and what were you thinking about it, and how you planning to
Uh,
sort of release it?
I was it's it was a very long calling for me. I wanted to get into independent faster. So
Mhm.
it took me. Of course, I've been doing Hindi film music for a long time now. So
Mhm.
I thought that some expressions which are difficult to express or emote in films, I
Mhm.
would rather create another channel or channelize that in a different way by opening my own channel. So a lot of things I can do freely there.
Mhm.
That's the reason why I opened my own label and own YouTube channel called ET Azad.
I was reading some interview. I'm not sure where I read this, but the entire idea of you releasing an independent label for independent music, somewhere down the line, I thought that is it because you were sort of scared that you didn't want sort of the big labels to get the rights of the independent music that you create, and that was the sort of concept behind it, that you wanted all the creative rights with you, so that no one in future could give those songs anywhere else without your permission.
No, nothing of that sort came into my mind while creating. Uh, I just wanted to create something freely and do it on in my own way. I never wanted somebody's uh, interference in that. कि ऐसा करो, because that happens in films any which ways.
Okay.
So, so I wanted freedom. So I thought I want to do it on my own. I don't want to do it any other way. So I can freely express and freely do whatever I want to do. That's about it. It's nothing to do with anything else.
Okay. And the first song that you released, I again was reading somewhere that it was a very old 40-year-old song that was written by your mother. So, I wanted to ask that, a song which was composed probably say 40 years ago, how difficult or challenging was it for you to, sort of make it relevant now to the audience now, the kind of the music they listen to?
To be precise, it was 33 years ago. So
I'm bad at
no,
maths. I'm bad.
yeah, no problem. But it was lying since so many years, and in my mother's book, because we couldn't record it then. There were no facilities to shoot it or record it back then. So she had written everything in her book, and that
Hmm.
book was with her. And I just happened to ask her that is one particular tune that I used to listen to it when I was small.
Hmm.
Do you still have that? So yeah, I
Hmm.
still have that written somewhere. So I said, can you open that and play or sing? And she opened it and then she started singing. And I said, can I do something with this? And I would like to do something with this and release this most probably. So she said, why not? Definitely. Uh, so then I decided, let's start the label. Let's start the entire independent journey with this
Hmm.
particular song. Yeah, because no better way to start a journey by taking two mothers' blessings, my mother and Rambe Ma. So it was the best, yeah, jump start to the entire thing.
So, is it right to assume that there was a special, of course, there is a special connect with all of your songs, but because this came from a special place, because it was your mother's writing and all of that, was it extra special?
Uh, of course, it is very very special to collaborate with your mother. First of all, it's a it's like a different feeling altogether. and something that your mother created so many years ago, wanting to release now, and trying to make it as relevant as today. And luckily, it had so much power that it still resonates well with the audience. It's really doing well. People are loving it, so it has that timelessness to it. So all thanks to the mother. It is definitely special.
Okay. And since this album has very sort of folksy roots to it, as a fanboy, I'm asking, will we sort of see Amit Trivedi try more, sort of more poppy numbers in independent space in future as well?
Yeah. It's 80 Azad is going to be everything. It's going to be mix of everything. Right now, I've started off with this the folk contemporary devotional space in this genre. So we are releasing 5 songs in this genre, and
Hmm.
then it'll keep changing. It'll keep changing. I'll keep adding new styles and genres to 80 Azad. So it's not restricted to any particular format.
And Amit, we've all been sort of growing up through this entire time where there was, time of CDs, cassettes, we moved to pen drives, then started downloading music, and now finally we are streaming music. So from all that perspective, how have you seen that sort of music evolution in terms of, consuming albums and consuming singles? I mean, you're releasing singles, but at the end of it all, it'll be compiled in an album, and then that's how it will be released. But how do you see that process? Do you think people are sort of now letting go of the entire idea of the albums and singles are the way?
You can say that singles are the way because we are in a digital era and it's easy to uh, release a single rather than doing an entire album, because we don't have the album. You need an album to cover the entire cassette, audio cassette, or a CD. But
True.
now we don't have that format. Audio cassette or CD is not there at all. So
Hmm.
one song is sufficient enough for one to work on and spend that kind of energy and monies on it. So
Hmm.
that's the uh, because the times are such, and we're living in a digital era. So that's the reason why singles are in. But still, I have come from a very old school thought process because I've grown up to albums and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I
So,
wanted to do. I wanted to do.
yeah.
Sorry.
So, will we see more albums as sort of opposed to singles from your label?
Yeah. This is kind of uh, like I want to create a wholesome experience rather than just giving one song. So if
Hmm.
whatever genre or whatever style I am working on, I would like to add more to it and create an album than just 2 singles.
And I read a question somewhere, a fan had this question that will you also allow other musicians to release music from your label, and how are you sort of planning all of that?
Definitely, that could be the plan in the future. As of now, whatever I have, I just want to release those, and then once that's done, I definitely would love to have some amazing artists collaborate with some amazing artists, sign up some great artists that I like. That's the future plan, definitely.
Okay. Now I
Then
want
I don't know, but yeah.
I wanted to take up some film questions as well. I was reading an interview. This was about Andhadhun, I think you gave. And you said that, it was you who sort of convinced Sri Ram that, you asked him to make Ayushman Khurrana not just a pianist, but a pianist singer. So I wanted to understand that when a director approaches you with a script and says that, he or she would like to compose you to compose for their film, do you sort of expect them to be this sort of flexible that you can also give your inputs that I'd like if you could do this, add this dimension to the character, because that will make music more relevant and more believable to the script?
Yeah, because that kind of, because we Hindi film music buffs, we like songs in the films. The right so it's not like a Hollywood film where you go very purist, and where if it was a proper Hollywood film, Ayushman could have been just a pianist,
True.
uh, and that in a very purist form. But then we are Bollywood, we are Hindi films, we love songs, we love our culture.
Hmm.
Uh, so I thought, yeah, that it will be an added thing. It will help the character a lot. It will be an added thing. Things he's just not just a piano player, but he's also a wonderful singer. So yeah, it kind of worked that way.
And I know a lot of your songs have been a big hit, but this song from Andhadhun, this particular song, Naina Ta Kya Kasoor, the kind of sort of reaction it got as soon as it was released, and it kept on playing and kept on dominating the charts on various radio channels. Did that kind of surprise you?
Surprised me. But why would why would it surprise
In
me?
fact, it was a how do I put it? As soon as it was released, people started listening to it, and people started, I don't know how to put it into this. That the kind of reaction it got, did that surprise you that it was an instant hit and people just connected very easily to it, and everyone was sort of playing it, radios, wherever in the car, all of that.
I wouldn't say it would surprise me. It did make me happy because that's what we are here to. That's what we are here to create something that the whole audience likes. And we want to create songs that become popular, become hits. And if it does, it makes us happy and validates that, wow, we are doing the right thing. So that thing was there. There was no surprise element there.
And before I'd ask you to play another Kasoor, I wanted to ask you this, that, across all the films you've done, I actually counted the number of films you've done. I think there are 50 odd films that you've already done by now. But across all films, you switch to genres very easily. So, of course, script has a lot to do with it. I read that, script tells you what sort of music to choose. But how do you sort of decide that, Bombay Velvet will have, for example, jazzy soundtrack, or El Urta Punjab will have a very electronic hip hop influenced Punjabi music, and so on and so forth?
That comes from the script. That comes from the director. Director has a vision. So always director wanted, like, as far as Bombay Velvet is concerned, it's set in 1950s, 60s, and in the heart of Bombay, where the jazz was a very big cultural thing in the city at that time. A lot of jazz clubs were there in the city at that time. A lot of jazz bars, and people used to consume that music a lot at that time. So the whole story revolved around a club. The club was Bombay Velvet, the jazz club. So Anurag sir was very clear that he wanted the music to be very jazz oriented. So that's how we created jazz. And then Urta Punjab was the same thing because it was based in Punjab and about a rock star who was a drug addict. So who was a singer, musician, rapper. So that idea again came from what the script was talking about and the characters were talking. So everything comes from there.
And as I said earlier, there was a request. Someone wanted you to play Naina Ta Kya Kasoor. So if I could just request you to play that song for us, that would be great.
Just excuse me. I will try. I'll try definitely. But excuse me today. I'm just a little under the weather, and throat is not.
We'll still talk.
अरे अभी अभी प्यार सा चेहरा दिखा है जाने क्या कहूँ उस पे क्या लिखा है गहरा समंदर दिल डूबा जिसमें घायल हुआ मैं उस पर से इसमें नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर ऐ दिल तू बता रे नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर नैना दा क्या कसूर बेकसूर बेकसूर ऐ दिल तू बता रे
That was awesome. Thank you so much for playing that. Meanwhile, there were a couple of questions. One was asking if you could just, sort of talk about how you go about composing music for a feature film, right from scratch, I'm guessing.
Like I said earlier, also it starts from the director. The director has his vision. All the directors have their own way of looking at the music of their film. So they'll share their vision, and there is a script that has been given where you read the script and understand the world of the film. what are the characters, what's the world like. So these things kind of inspire. These things where you kind of latch onto and bring and come up with things around that, which will work within the film, within the situational boundaries of what the director has set. So it starts up all with that, and then you kind of keep jamming. Then there is a director, there's a lyric writer, and then there is a singer. So we kind of jam with these people as well. So it's a collaborative effort which kind of comes together.
Okay.
And,
so has it ever happened that, there was a song that just clicked for you? You just composed a song, the lyricist just wrote a few lines, and that was it basically. You were done in a day with the mixing and all of that. And you were like, yes, this is it, what we wanted.
Yeah, it does happen. It does happen like that. Yeah, we are like, it does happen. Many songs just happen like this, without taking much time. Some songs do take time, months sometimes, but some just creativity is like that way, very unpredictable. You can't predict when what just clicks. Whenever that eureka moment happens, then you are into the zone. You're totally inspired, and then something comes. You can't pinpoint like I guess.
All right. There's one request. Could you please play the Udan theme on keyboards? I actually have a few questions about Udan as
well. Okay. It's been long since I played this.
I had goosebumps. So, Udan was not exactly a very commercially driven film or anything like that. In fact, all of your initial films, like Devdi, the films you were starting off with, were not very commercially driven films. I always wanted to understand that, was that a conscious decision on your part that, you would want to do films which are more story driven, which are more indie in nature, which will sort of give you room to sort of work with creativity and all of that?
No, actually, seriously not. It's just that I started off with Amir and Devdi and Udan. These were the films that I was associated with in the beginning of my career. So it became a thought that I'm only choosing those kind of films. But no, they chose me actually. I was fortunate that I got to work on films like Amir, Devdi, Wake Up Se Udan, where things were changing then, the cinema was changing then. So I was fortunate to be a part of that. And so it became like a thing that, okay, if you want to do whatever you just said, that it was something, the subject that's different, let's go to him. It was not a construction, it just happened, just organically and naturally happened.
All right. And I think we're running out of time. I think we've done 20 minutes already. Finally, I just wanted to sort of wrap it up on this note that, it's been 12 years since you've been sort of part of the film industry, and you are rightly so considered as one of the, finest music composers in the country right now. So how do you see the entire evolution of, Bollywood music and independent music, especially considering the fact that people have expressed their concerns over this entire remake trend, and independent music is also booming up at the same time?
Yeah, independent music is really booming at the same time. The same thing. A lot of artists, they don't get opportunity, don't get chance to showcase their talent in Bollywood, because we are, as Bollywood music consumption is too high in this country. It's very big. So whatever, unfortunately, an artist aspires to be a Bollywood musician because that's the only bigger way or zaria, you can say, to showcase what you have. But that's changing now, and it's very good thing that is changing. And independent music is also rising equally. So, and it has to coexist. So finally, that time is coming where the both are coexisting and doing well. So it's good news for independent artists that way.
All right. I think that'd be all. We had just, if I know, we had only a couple of requests, but there was this really nice request that I missed. Someone wanted you to play Zinda from Doterra. And I think that'd be the perfect end to note this, end this Instagram live.
Okay. Okay. मुझे छोड़ दो मेरे हाथ में, मुझे छोड़ दो मेरे हाथ में, जिंदा हूँ यार काफी है, जिंदा हूँ यार काफी है, मुझे छोड़ दो मेरे हाथ में, मुझे छोड़ दो मेरे हाथ में, जिंदा हूँ यार काफी है, जिंदा हूँ यार काफी है.
Perfect. I think that's a perfect song to end this live on. Thank you so much for speaking with us and connecting with us and giving us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.